Unfortunately, nature there was compelled to adapt herself to this abnormality, so that, owing to these unexpectednesses, certain intense being experiencings and active deliberations might proceed in them automatically, independently of them themselves. And so that, owing to these active deliberations, the required transformation and assimilation of these necessary sacred particles of the higher being foods might automatically proceed in them. Now, my boy, as for the processes themselves of the transformation of the evolutionary and involutionary movements of all these cosmic substances, by means of just such apparatuses of the most great common cosmic Trogoauto-egocrat, as all your favorites also are, then those transformations proceed in them as well as in us, and in general in all large and small cosmoses of our common megalocosmoses, strictly according to those two same chief fundamental cosmic laws, namely according to the sacred Heptaparapashanoch and the sacred Triamazikamno. Before talking to you about the manner in which the cosmic substances entering into beings as their first being food are transformed in them for the purposes of the common cosmic Trogoauto-egocratic process, and which enter into three-brained beings, if they have a certain kind of attitude towards this process, also for the coding and the perfecting of their own higher parts, it is necessary for you to bear in mind, for a clear representation of these processes, that in our megalocosmos, from results which have already flowed from every kind of Trogoauto-egocratic process, there are many hundreds of independent active elements with various specific subjective properties which take part in new formations. These many hundreds of active elements with various properties, wherever they might be, proceeding from the 7 stopenders of the fundamental common cosmic sacred Heptaparapashanoch, are, depending upon which stopenders they received their primordial arising, divided and localized, according to what is called the affinity of vibrations, into 7 what are called Oktapanatsaknian classes, and all, without exception, of both the large and small already definite concentrations in all our megalocosmos, are formed from these active elements belonging to 7 independent classes. And as I've already told you, they have their own subjective properties. And these subjective properties of theirs, and likewise their what are called proportions of vivifyingness, are actualized firstly according to what form of functioning of the 5th stopender of the sacred Heptaparapashanoch was flowing during their arising, and secondly, whether the given active elements arise owing to the conscious intention on the part of some independent individual, or whether they arose automatically, merely owing to the 2nd grade law called attraction and fusion of similarities. Well then, these same many hundreds of definite active elements belonging to 7 different Oktapanatsaknian classes, and having 7 different subjective properties, among which the properties of vivifyingness and decomposition have supreme significance, compose, in their totality, the fundamental common cosmic Ansan-Baluazar, by which the most great cosmic Trogoauto-egocrat is actualized, the true savior from the law-conformable action of the merciless hero pass. It is necessary to tell you also that the first appearance of every kind of concentration from the etherokrilno, which is found everywhere in the universe owing to the 2nd grade cosmic law, the attraction and fusion of similarities proceeds in the following manner. If particles of etherokrilno, which are already found in the different spheres of all 7 stop-enders of the fundamental common cosmic Ansan Balyuazar, collide for some reason or another. They begin the arising of all kinds of crystallizations, which do not yet have any subjective properties. And furthermore, if these particles of etherokrilno fall for some reason or other into conditions where a process of Harnell-Miatznell proceeds, they fuse into one, and owing to what are called complexion vibrations acquired in them, are transformed into active elements already with definite specific properties. And if thereafter these already definite active elements with their own specific subjective properties enter into other processes of Harnell-Miatznell, which have other conditions, they again fuse with each other according to the same law of affinity of vibrations, and thus acquiring other properties are transformed into active elements of another Oktapanatsaknian class, and so on and so forth. And that is why there are, in our megalocosmos, so many independent active elements with their different specific subjective properties. And if now, my boy, you satisfactorily grasp the succession of the process of transformation of cosmic substances by means of being apparatuses, into which these cosmic substances enter as first being food, then at the same time you will approximately understand everything concerning the chief particularity of the sacred law of Heptaparapashanach, as well as the processes of evolution and involution of the other higher being foods. When these evolving active elements, in their returning ascent from the last stop-ender of the fundamental common cosmic sacred Heptaparapashanach, enter into the common presences of being apparatuses as their first being food, they begin already from the mouth itself, with the help of the process of the second grade law, Harnell-Miatznell, that is, owing to mixture and fusion, according to the affinity of vibrations with the active elements which have already evolved in the presences of the beings, and have acquired vibrations corresponding to the subsequent stop-enders of the being Heptaparapashanach, to be gradually changed, and are transmuted this time in the stomach of the beings into definite active elements named being protoehari, which correspond in their vibrations to the ascending fourth stop-ender of the fundamental common cosmic Heptaparapashanach. From there, this totality, which has the gravity center vibration of being protoehari, passing, thanks again only to the process of Harnell-Miatznell, over the whole of what is called the intestinal tract, and gradually evolving, completely acquires in consequence corresponding vibrations, and is this time completely transmuted into what is called the duodenum, into being Defteroehari. Further, a part of these definite substances of being Defteroehari go to serve the planetary body itself, and also the local Harnell-Miatznell in respect of the newly entering food. But the other part, also by means of a process of Harnell-Miatznell, of local character, continues its independent evolution, and is ultimately transmuted in beings in the still higher definite substances which are called this time being Tritoehari. And this totality of cosmic substances, temporarily crystallized in the common presences of being apparatuses, which correspond in their vibrations to being Tritoehari, have as the gravity center place of their concentration in the presences of beings the what is called liver, It is just in this place of the being Ansan Baluazar that the lower Midnel Inn of the sacred Heptaparapashanoch is located, called the Mechano-coinciding Midnel Inn, and therefore the substances of the being Tritoehari